What's good, people? You know what it is. It's your boy, James Mack. You know what I'm saying? We back with another video. And I got some good topics, man. Some weird kind of topics, but it's stuff I think about. And if you haven't already seen it on the Lessons and Blessings podcast with my co-host, Great Orange Hope, yeah, we spoke a little bit about it. Make sure y'all go check that out, by the way. So, with that being said, man, we're going to get into some things that I usually talk about or more so think about to myself. So, my first question is, it's in my notes. Give me a second. All right. So, if your current life was a dream, would you wake up? Would you want to wake up? You know what I mean? Like, would you want to wake up out of this simulation? If it was that, would you want to wake up? And I've been thinking about this to myself for years, 10 plus. It's just a random question. Like, what if, like, let's just say you was in a coma, God forbid, but you was in a coma for some reason and you just happen to wake up instantly, like right now. You wake up and nothing that you've experienced all this time was real. Okay. That's scary in itself. But let's go back to the question. If you had the option to wake up, would you do it? And what's on the other side? What do you think would be on the other side? Or, like, in my mind, I'm gonna just give you what I think about. You wake up and nothing here, it really exists. And how would you feel about that? How does that make you feel by hearing what I just said? Because that scares the hell out of me to think, like, in that scenario. Some people may be ready to leave and get up out of here. You know what I mean? As far as like leaving this reality, and that's fine. But as far as me, like my co-host, he initially said, and I co-signed, I'm happy with what's going on right here in my life right now. So I'd be terrified, but also it's like, it's a coin. It got two sides. It could be something greater than this. Like, but are you willing to take that chance? You know what I mean? Like, would you do that? Like, honestly, let me know in the comments if you would, like, wake up and just, this will be it. It's over. No more your surroundings. No more people you thought you knew. Would you be willing to take that gamble? If you want to know my answer, hell no. I'd stay asleep. Unfortunately, staying asleep and being woke, I know it got some negativity attached to it, but this life, I'd rather just stay here and make the best of it, because that's what I'm doing now. I'm happy, I'm focused, I have purpose, and to just end it and wake up, that could, like, possibly snap somebody mentally, to realize that nothing that you live was real. All of these years that you've been living, nothing is real. It was a lie. Well, not necessarily a lie, but it was fabricated in your mind, possibly. You know what I mean? That's some, some of the things that I think about in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's I could get deeper into it, but this next topic kind of goes hand in hand with it, with dreams, basically. So I was thinking, and I seen a video, and I also spoke about this on the Lessons and Blessings podcast channel. And I was like, me as a black man, and for my non-black viewers, just think about this in your, think about it from your perspective too. So me as a black man, when you dream, have you ever seen any other race in your dreams? You know what I'm saying? So if you're white, have you ever seen any black people in your dreams? As if you're Chinese, have you ever seen any white or black people in your dreams? So think about it like that. Have you? Because I can honestly say, after some thought, no, I have never seen any other race in my dreams. And it makes me think, like, why is that? Is it like being relatable and your mind is locked in on that? Is it a way of thinking? Is it I don't know. I don't know. These are questions that I have though. Like, why is that for me? I don't know for you. If you do, and you, a lot of people, because I asked a few people and they like, you know what? I never paid attention to it. But you, now that you say that, it's kind of, you know what I mean? So if you feel that way, next time before you go to sleep, after you watch this video and you about to lay it down, think about it and pay attention before you go to sleep. You're going to be conscious if you're listening and you're going to pay attention to it. Because I definitely did. And the next dream I had, no, it was none, you know, and I'm like, why is that? Why don't you dream about other people? Yes, that's true. But is it a different race? Is it always your race? And some people may say it is. And if so, let me know. I want to know, you know, maybe the way I'm thinking is different, or I ain't gonna say it's wrong. I mean, I'm not, you know, hateful towards any other race at all. Never been, you know what I mean? But it's more so like, I wonder why that is, you know. These are just, it's in the brain of James, you know what I mean? But it's weird to think that, you know, and more so often than not, a lot of people agree with what I'm saying. They feel the same way. They understand where I'm coming from as far as that. And it could be like my co-host, I think he was saying more so like, you know, as far as your family and your, you know, close group of people that you hang with and things like that. It could be an effect in the subconscious. And, you know, when you're drifting and dreaming, you know, your subconscious takes over. But also your subconscious, when you out and about, you see a little bit of everything out, you know, so your subconscious should pick up on those different groups of people to put in your dreams. But for some reason, for me and a lot of others, it doesn't happen. It's more so I just see, you know, my own race, you know, what looks like me. Or like just the other day after I, you know, talked about it on the podcast, the next dream I had, it was a bunch of celebrities with me included in it, but more so they was, you know, black celebrities. So it's just weird to me, you know what I mean, to have that. And I wonder why that is. Why, like, it's a lot of reasons why the brain does what it does, but more so than not, people don't know why the brain does what it does. You know what I mean? A lot of people say the brain is the soul of a human. I don't agree with that. I think the brain, which is going into my next topic and probably my final topic, is the brain is the hub for the soul, but the soul is separate. The soul is there, but the brain is processing what the soul has to offer. What the soul, you know, like I was telling in the podcast, Lessons, Blessings, check it out. Basically, it's like a car. Your soul is the person that's getting in the car driving. Your body is the car. You know, as the car is driving and turning and driving, speeding up, slowing down, that's the soul possessing the car, controlling it. But once you leave here, the soul gets out of the car and the car is no longer being driven. It's done. It's over with. You know what I mean? And I look at the body like that, and the soul is doing that. It's just driving. They always, you know how they say your body is a vessel. You know what I mean? So if it is, I don't believe wholeheartedly, I don't believe that your brain is who you are. I think your brain is more so of a hub. And then it leads into this last topic that I have that I'll spend a little more time on. Is the brain the processor of the body, of the soul? And I definitely agree with it, because I do. You know, I once recently heard that as far as computers and anything with technology, they based that off the brain, of the human brain, when they created it. Because the processor is the brain, which delivers information to other components of the computer, which tells it what to do, when to do it, how fast to do it. You know what I mean? So I look at the human brain as the processor, or maybe you can call it the motherboard, whatever, the main component of the computer of the body to tell every which thing to do, what to do, when to do it. So yeah, I do think that like it's the processor of the whole body, but it's not the soul. And you know, when you think about it like that, when I think about it like that, I think more so like you definitely should take care of your body to make sure your processor, aka your brain, is doing exactly what it needs to be doing, how fast it needs to do it, and to be a critical thinker, or to be the best version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that comes with eating right, you know, thinking right. You have to think positive. You have to think better than if you're in a negative state, especially when you're talking to yourself. Don't down yourself, because your processor, aka your brain, will process that and send it to the rest of your body. If you think you're no good and you think everything's bad and I have no hope, or you know, that negative thinking, that your brain, like Bruce Lee said, your brain doesn't know the difference between you're joking and telling the truth. It's going to accept everything as truth, and it's going to feed that to the rest of your body. And I think honestly, that's where a lot of illnesses come from too. When you think negative and you're down and you hating on yourself, it's going to trigger other things in your body to fail too. You know, it's all connected. Everything is connected. You know what I mean? So if you feed yourself positive energy and, you know, affirm within yourself that you're positive and you're great and you're happy and you're mentally, you know, clear and focused, it will feed the rest of your body and you'll have a different type of energy, man. So treat that processor, aka brain, aka motherboard, with some respect and some high profile energy, because nobody else is going to give you what you need. You have to give yourself what you need at all times. Even in your down times, you got to, you know, kick yourself in the ass and be like, look, nah, I'm not doing that. Let's keep it moving. Personal experience for me, you know, I and I'm gonna be honest, you know, I was negative about myself in the past. And now, you know, they say when you talk to yourself, you're crazy. No, you're not crazy. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your own coach sometimes. You know, you don't need nobody to teach you this life thing if you can do it yourself. You know, you have to be your best motivator, especially like with a passion or anything. You have to want it first. So I want to be better mentally, and that's what I work on every day. So there's things where I catch myself about to maybe get angry or maybe not want to do something, and I'm like, nah, mentally, nah, we gonna do this. We about to do it. You got to do it. You want to be better, you better do it. Because in those moments when you're alone and nobody's around, it's nobody but you to feed that energy to you. You have to want that. And then eventually, once you start gradually, you know, doing better and becoming great, the people around you will see that, and then you'll receive the energy from people that really love you. They'll support it. You know what I'm saying? But it starts at home. It starts right here. The body, the mind, the soul is home. And that's where it has to start no matter what. You know, I know I'm getting off topic, but it ties in. You know, treat that processor, aka the brain, like it's supposed to be treated. You know what I mean? Nobody else is going to give you that. It has to start with you first, because the people that you hang around also are a reflection of who you are. You know what I mean? That's a fact. You know, and if you want to be better, sometimes them people and those vices that you attach to gotta go. You know, discipline and making some hard decisions about, you know, your surroundings. It might hurt a little, or it might hurt them a little, or a lot. But if you want to be better, you know what's better. You know what's best. Trust your gut and do what you need to do out here, man. But not to get on this, you know, preaching thing. I know I always go on that. But what I'm saying is, do you think that the brain is the processor to the body or the soul? I think the soul is more so its own entity. I think once we leave here, our soul is what leaves. You know, the body clearly doesn't leave. The brain clearly doesn't leave. It's all that's physical. So I'm speaking on things that are above physical, you know, that's higher than physical, the physical plane. So therefore, you know, the people that have those near death experiences, or they, you know, pass away briefly but come back, but during that time they can see themselves. There's been times I've had dreams and I have traveled around and I've seen myself sleep, and they call that astral projection. I think that's the soul. That's you. You know what I mean? But until we actually, you know, fulfill our life on this plane and we go to the next one, we'll never know. But I will wrap this up and say, no matter what this life is, no matter where we going after this, no matter what happens, enjoy what we got right now. Enjoy what you got. Enjoy this life, because for all we know, it's only one. You know, nobody really knows. So do the best you can, be the best version of yourself, and live a little. You know, that's another thing I'm working on. You know, I'm thinking it's all work and no play. I am one of those people, you know, but sometimes you can play. What's wrong with playing? You know what I mean? What's wrong with being out there and just not worrying about work and, you know, getting things done that needs to be done? You have to enjoy your life, you know, hence this video. Me doing this, I love it. My music, I just started kicking that back up. I love it. You know what I mean? Those type of things that make you tick, things that maybe the people that you hang with don't like, but you like. But so what? Do you? Because you only got one you while you on this planet or on this plane. And I'll leave that there. So, but with that being said, man, I know I got some, you know, different POVs, but it's fine. But this is why I'm here. I'm here to let you guys get inside the mind of James Mack. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you enjoyed this video. But please, for real, let me know in the comments. Have you ever dreamt and seen somebody that's different from you in your dreams? And, you know, do you think that the brain is the processor to the mind? I mean, to the body? You know what I mean? And is the soul its own entity, or do you think the brain is the soul? You know, but let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys again, man. And with that being said, you know what it is. It's Mr. Mack. Peace out.